Park, Wigan.
And once again,
I'd like a particular welcome to Alan Clarkson and Jeff Gerard, who have been in the studio there giving a little preamble before the start of this match. Well, your first test, you'll remember, Australia won by 40 points to 4. 8 tries and 8 goals to 2 penalty goals. And you'll remember that Growth, Meninga, Bosted, Kenny, Boyd, Pearce, Reddy and Price scored tries. That's 4 from the backs and 4 from the forwards. A nice split down the middle there. They led at the half-time break in that match 10-4. The Meninga try and 8 goals in that game is the highest tally in an England-Australia test in England, except for Langlands in 1963, who made 20, and Cronin in Brisbane, who I think in 79 had 20. The Kangaroos are undefeated in 12 matches on tour. They've scored 345 points for and only 60 points against, scoring 81 tries to 6. And the England side take the field now, a very much changed England side. The England selectors have not used an axe, they've used an old English broadsword. Pardon me. They've got 10 changes on this side from the first test one. And indeed only winger Des Drummond, prop Jeff Gratian, pardon me, who's the new captain, and loosehead prop Trevor Skerritt have survived from the first test side. And that's the full team. Mumby, Drummond, Smith, Stevenson, Gill, Holmes and Kelly, Gratian, Dalgene, Skerritt, Eccles, Burton, Heron, and the subs are Wood and Rathbone. Right, now the changes have resulted in the lowering of the average age of this heretofore Dad's Army vintage team from 28.5 down to 26. This is not going to be an easy game for the Australian side, a vastly different team. On 2 occasions in the past, in the history of England-Australia test matches, the England selectors have taken the broadsword and made 10 changes, and on both occasions, Barry Ross, they've won.
They certainly have gone for a lot of new players, Ricks. A couple of interesting players too. Second rower, Bob Eccles, the 25-year-old from Warrington, has scored 14 tries this year, and that's a lot of tries. He's high up on the list, and he scored 9 in the last 9 matches.
Okay, we're just waiting for the Australian side to come onto the field at the moment. And as I mentioned, this is not going to be an easy game for the Australian side because
wholly Kangaroos struggled. Here comes the Australian side now.
Okay, on come the Australian side. No changes in the lineup. Brentnell, Bosted, Meninga, Rogers, Growth, Kenny, Sterling, Young, Krilich, Boyd, Pearce, Reddy and Price. But the subs are different. Lewis and Ray Brown. Coach, of course, Frank Stanton. Now, the numbers of the wingers will be reversed to what you see there. Eric Growth will be playing in number 2. Will be playing in number 5, and Kerry Bosted will be playing in number 2. We're going to stand by now for the national anthems. And that is hopefully the end of the music for the afternoon as we get on with the business of rugby league. And of course the Australians flat out today to win this test match, to win the Ashes, and England equally adamant that they will be a winner today to level the series and make the third at Leeds in 8 days time a decider. Let me just give you a few details on the ground. It's in superb condition. We had a walk on it earlier. We've had a little bit of rain in Wigan this morning, and it is slightly damp, the grass, but one suggests it's in perfect condition for playing rugby league. The weather, well, blue skies above, and a little bit of intermittent cloud around. Vapour trails from jets, a number of RAF establishments dotted around the north of England, and they frequently send them over at low level. Vapour trails all over the place. The temperature about a chilly 8 degrees, I would suggest. And last night, as I had a run along a road from where I was staying that led into North Wales, I was running through puddles and the ice was forming.
You didn't fall in, Rex?
No, they were only little puddles, Barry.
Well, we just see there out in the field that Jeff Gratian, the English captain, has won the toss, and he's elected to take use of what little wind there is here. It's mainly a crossfield wind, but Gratian wearing number 8, the front row forward. Different numbering system over here for the forwards than it is in Australia. You may have noticed Max Krilich in the picture wearing number 9. The hooker, the front row 8, 9 and 10 in England.
Okay, Australia running from right to left. A loud, loud roar. And Krilich laying down the law already. Steve Rogers to start the play. In sunshine, Saraskag gets them away. Loud roar as Mumby takes his first touch. Jal Green, the Fulham hooker there at half-back, dummy half. Trevor Skerritt, one of the survivors, only 3 from the first test. And offside, inside the 5. And that's fine, and let's hope the referee keeps that up all day long for both sides. That's Holmes, the replacement 5'8". Very talented 30-year-old, but he doesn't have age on his side in the duel with Kenny.
And the most experienced member of the British side. 19 tests for Great Britain and 7 for England.
Gratian. It's about 8 yards outside the Australian quarter. Dal Green looks as though he's going to be living in that dummy half position. The Fulham hooker. Kelly, little halfback. Still about 4 yards out from the Australian quarter, midfield. Dal Green again. Holmes, a long floating pass out there to Stevenson, who makes a bit of an inroad. You can see the softness of the ground. A couple of big lumps of turf came out there. Drummond, Holmes, Kelly, Gratian unloads the ball. Picked up nicely on the half volley there. I think that was Chris Burton, the second rower. Australia tackling like fury at the moment. There's a player way offside. Bosted takes that. Number 2, Props comes back midfield. A good 8-10 metre gain. Runs into a hornet's nest. But play out, and a penalty against England for failing to get off the tackle player. Well, Barry, the referee showing a willingness early to penalise for any sort of misdemeanour.
Yes, and that was one of his faults in the first test, Rex. He was quite a fair referee in the first test, but didn't get the players off the tackle player quick enough, and that's what he penalised the English side in that occasion for, and that's good.
Okay, Max Krilich to restart. Sterling, Kenny, Boyd went under a head-high tackle, and the referee on the run warms Kelly, the English half. It missed. At 6 to go, a good decision as Price made an inroad and a head-high tackle. Number 12 walking away, Burton, as if he didn't know what he was being called for. It was attempted stiff.
Yes, that's the player Burton very early in the tour that had the run in when he was, I think, the second game of the tour with Hull Kingston Rovers. An incident with young Brett Kenny, and a comment from Frank Stanton when he was selected in this test side. He whacked Brett Kenny, and I believe he can fall on a ball.
All right, the penalty, and Brentnell will take the kick. Two penalties to one, Australia's favourite at this stage. That's not a bad kick either, right into the England quarter. Sterling, the run around, switch of play, Sterling, back nicely to Boyd, rampaging. 2 switches of play. Well-rehearsed move. Boyd gets up, plays it forward, only about, well, 10 yards out. Sterling, step. 5 yards from England's line. Referee touches one of the players on the backside. Pearce on the rampage. Good tackle too, it must be said. Krilich. Sterling. Back inside to Price. Price can't get a pass away. He does now to Brentnell. Brentnell's on the ground though. Has to fall to the ground to take it. Still about 8 yards out. Across the line comes Sterling. Craig Young. Kenny. Can't get a pass away. Good defence from England. Up quickly there was Mike Smith. Krilich. Sterling. Flick back on the inside to Pearce. Nicely to Krilich. Then inside to Reddy. Reddy away to Boyd. Boyd can't unload. He's tackled 8 yards out. The pressure all on England.
There was some excellent football there, the way the Australians kept that ball alive.
And the crowd loving it. Scrum going down, England feed. I've not seen Kelly from Warrington play before, the halfback. Stocky little player.
Yes, 3 tests for Great Britain previous to this.
Penalty, differential. And that was a loose arm signal, I think. His signals are a little bit different to what we're used to. The quick tap. Craig Young. Ready. Dummies. Can't unload. A little bit of heavy stuff from Trevor Skerritt. Rogers. Craig Young. Nicely away to Kenny. Keeps it on the inside. Play about 5 yards out from England's line. Pressure mounting. Price. Sterling. Beautiful pass there to Rogers on the burst, but he was well handled. Holmes was there quickly. Sterling. Sterling putting plenty of pressure on with short darting runs. Boyd. Ready. Pearce loses it. England in possession. He's seen a knock on.
And he's still on the ground, Wayne Pearce.
And he's gone for a penalty for Australia. Offside, he's classified the England player that fell on the ball.
Well, I think that may have been right, Rex. I'm trying to pick the other Englishman. It's number 12. Chris Burton did touch the ball first. It went a little forward, and number 8, Gratian, come in over the top. So I think he was slightly offside.
Here's a replay of the incident the referee saw. There's the ball going down, touched. Well, it was touch and go. I've seen a lot of those. I would have felt a bit aggrieved if Australia would have been penalised for that, to be quite honest. And Alf Richards on the field there at the moment. Pearce a little bit groggy. Talking to the Australian team doctor before the match, and he said that some of the players were very sore after the game against Hull last week, and they moved back exactly where the referee moved them away. Meninga, first points of the game opportunity. Strikes that hard and true, so Australia first blood, and they lead 2-0. To Days still after his treatment. Looks like a kick's on here. Back to Brentnell. Through come the Australian players. All offside, of course, unless Mumby drops it. Takes it beautifully. Makes a good little bust up the middle and tripped legitimately by Price with a dive. Found a hole in the Australian defence. Dal Green. Back to halfway. He's a lively hooker, this fella. Well, that was dropped, that ball, but he's got Australia for offside. Steve Rogers. He's bound to keep them apart. Penalties.
4-3, Australia's way.
No scrums yet that have been decided. The kick from Holmes puts England back into Australia's quarter. Drummond and England have 2 coloured wingers, both Drummond and Henderson-Gill. I think both of West Indian origin.
Yes, that's correct.
Right. Kelly, players running as foils there as Eccles gets sorted out there by Pearce. Kelly, Holmes, beautiful pass there out to Mike Smith, the centre. And a penalty going against Rogers. Keeping him back to 5. He was offside, the referee, Mr. Rathcagney says. Now, the information on Mumby, who's kicking for England, is that he's not a regular goal kicker with his club.
No, well, Mumby's with Bradford Northern, of course, and the fullback there. He's only kicked 12 goals this year, and he's only second or third choice behind their normal number 1 goal kicker, Dean Carroll. So this could...
Virtually minimal. And strange to be sitting here commentating on a game at Wigan in the sun. He struck that well and looks good for confidence, and that's 2-2. England 2, Australia 2. Rogers, who's been the kicker in all of these matches to restart the play. But the Australians standing very deep. He drives that deep. It'll be taken by Gill on the bounce. He's a stocky, strong player. Just outside the quarter. Dahlgren. Skerritt. 10 yards outside the England quarter. The penalty to England against Australia for failing to release the tackle player, and this is something that a habit they've got into over here. Most of the Australians are doing it. Now Holmes is powerful with the right foot. Dahlgren, Gratian, captain. Dahlgren again, gets up and charges off the mark. Trevor Skerritt, the other prop, straight and hard. Kelly switches play out there on the left to Heron, the lock forward, up to the Australian quarter. Meninga's offside. The referee hasn't seen it. Gratian unloads well. Got inside there to Dahlgren. The Australian quarter. Loose pass. Advantage lost slightly. Trevor Skerritt has it. Kelly makes a little incisive run. Just inside the Australian quarter. Last tackle. Dahlgren. Burton. And dies with the ball. That's something the Australian second rowers have not been doing, and the England second rowers have been doing. Plenty of pressure from both sides. Handling quite good. And that's a penalty differential against Australia's Sterling for an incorrect feed. And Peter Sterling has got into that habit over here more than he does with Parramatta. Right, England, 10 yards out. Kelly. Very close went David Heron. Almost through the gap. Holmes. A dummy. Oh, and a very good tackle there. Brought Nichols down. It needed a good one too. Got up, played it forward, lost it. Knock on both ways.
So was Steve Rogers that picked him up then. A great tackle.
That needed a good tackle too. He was on the boil. And the England crowd rising to the England side. Screwing around all over the place. Referee manipulating it. It's 5 yards out now. He wants it again. Got about 16 minutes played. 2-2 the score. Australia's ball. Price. About a 12-metre game. Important scrum. Brentnell, the fullback, ran into a hornet's nest there in the shape of Trevor Skerritt. Grillitsch. Price under a head high. 2 yards outside the quarter. Reddy wanting it. Grillitsch goes to the dummy. It's a bit of a workout on the head too. The elbows. And that's Burton again.
Yes, 2 penalties against Burton.
And might be interesting to keep a little log on those because he's a noted, shall we say, enforcer, this Burton. There's Brentnell's kick. It's not a great one. It's going to hit Barry Ross. No, it's not. Straight for you there for a moment.
I was going to catch it, put it back straight away, Rex, because we're attacking.
There's Boyd. The tap restart, takes it now. Plenty of defence there. They building back 10 yards, and though Les Boyd might smile about it, that's a points win to England forwards. Price ready, outside to Growth. Growth's in the clear, but Mumby picks him up with a good tackle and into touch. No argument with Mumby's defence there. It was a try if he gets around him. I think that pass from Reddy might have been fractionally forward, but the referee slightly behind the play there. The scrum now midway between England's quarter and halfway. That Mumby tackle, one to remember. Referee suggesting that he wants this all over again. And out England's way. Kelly, Sterling on top of him. Holmes at dummy half. The lively Heron. The lead's locked forward. Holmes. Eccles. Hasn't been sighted much in the game up to now. The opening 18 minutes. Good pass. Oh, and a sudden stop as Kenny came in. And that's an England player in trouble with a legitimate tackle.
I think it's the half.
Offside too, as Burton fell on the ball in an offside position. That was a crunching tackle from Kenny. Legitimate.
It's Ken Kelly, the English player, still receiving treatment back on halfway.
And the kick has taken England into a precarious position because Australia now only about 8 yards out. Krlich has taken them within 3 yards. Sterling. There's the blind side. Craig Young, crisscross, Boyd on the burst. Had his forward momentum stopped about a half a yard away and belted back another yard. Kelly still being treated back at halfway. Sterling, props, still going. That's a weaving run from Sterling. Went back up the blind side. That could be a try, it is.
Ray Price.
Ray Price might have got over. The referee indicates he likes it for a try. So Price first blood for Australia in the try scoring stakes, take them to a lead of 5 points to 0.
The try scorer for Australia, number 13, Ray Price.
We're going to see a replay of that. There's Price, and it's a straight out bulldoze. The head-on shot, if we've got one from this end, will be a bit more explicit. Sterling was the man that set the try up by going on that charge up the blind side. A lot of talking going on the Australian team. Craig Young getting a bit of repair work from Alf Richards. And Kelly, the half, still being treated as Meninga lines up this kick. One yard inside England's quarter, 11 yards in from the sideline. The breeze slightly across him. Struck that. It's there. Great goal by Meninga, important one. And Australia lead by 7 points to 2. Back to halfway come the England side, who put on a very spirited performance for the opening 15 minutes, but that try was a fairly soft one in rugby league terms, allowing a man at Ivo from dummy half there. Shows some forwards are not getting into position. Price. Krlich. Craig Young, who's played some good football on this tour. Played it badly there between his legs, I thought, just put it between his legs, but the referee was looking along the England's defensive line and didn't see it. Krlich allows himself to be pulled forward a couple of yards. Rocket ready. Crisscross move, Krlich, Price, Brentnell. That pass looked forward to Meninga and out to Bowstead. It's on the ground now. fallen on by Price, and a forward pass in that lot. Meninga. Sterling dummying to kick. Good tackle from Trevor Skerritt. Scrum. 8 yards into England's half, almost midfield. Kelly to feed. We've only had one completed scrum so far. Penalty this time, differential to England. Feet across against Krilich. And only the one completed scrum so far has gone. I'm sorry, 2 completed scrums, 1 each, and the penalties favour the England side by 7 to 6. There's the scrum that caused the trouble. Back to the action with England from the penalty. Oh, there's a terrible bit of football. I thought that pass went forward. The referee said play on. It ricocheted off the man it was intended for, Gratian. Formerly with the Cronulla team. Heron. Holmes cuts out a man. Chris Burton tends to die a bit with the ball. Kelly. Holmes nicely back on the inside. Heron. Inside the Australian quarter, last tackle. Kelly. Quick hands here, might be interesting. Outside there to Dave Stevenson, back on the inside to Drummond. He's not only been tackled, but he's lost the ball to Sterling. Stevenson got into a gap then, but didn't have the pace to go with it. Krilich. Craig Young, the dummy. Krilich again. Right through, nicely to Brendel. Good subterfuge play there by Max Krilich. That was Kenny, not Brendel. Sterling. Rogers, the dummy. Acceleration. Bowstead in the fly on the outside. Stays away from the sideline. Gets up, bounces down, knocked to the ground again. Eric Groth's bobbed up out there. The play coming towards his wing now. Ready. Kenny. Pass out to Brendel. He's dumped hard. Groth a little bit an error going over to the right there in that situation. Craig Young, ready. Meninga. Groth back in the inside to Sterling. It's a try. Put the glasses down. He's in. Drummond chased him. The Sterling had the fly, and that was the end of the section. Good play, sustained effort by the Australians, with Reddy involved and some very good interpassing. See it again. Here they come. Now Reddy took a stride and gave the pass to Meninga. Meninga quickly back on the inside to Groth. Groth picked up by the defensive centre number 4 there, who was David Stevenson, but the pass to Sterling too quick. I've no doubt Drummond would have caught him had it been another 5 yards, but not on that sprint. So the floodgates starting to open. And already England, I would suggest, in a no-win situation, although it's early days. Straight as a gun barrel, and the Australian scoreline moves on comfortably now.
For Australia, number 3, Mal.
It's 12 points to 2. Now, unless England can strike in the next few minutes, and we've got about 28 minutes of play gone, they're going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble. Holmes finds Sterling on the full, who finds Bowstead, the winger coming cross field. Here's Ray Price, always breaks a tackle. Incredible man. Krilich running well, back into Boyd, finds a gap up the middle, ploughs his way forward. Good flick pass there from Krilich. Reddy waving to the right, but it'll go to the left. Young Pearce, the acceleration. Beautiful. Back inside to Kenny. Back to Pearce. Pearce has got Growth on the outside. Growth's going up the sideline. Over one tackle, through another, and in. And the England defence has collapsed. The Australians are starting to tear them apart, and the Australians are concerned about injury at this point. Eric Growth hurt as he dived over the line. And here's the way it came, ready with a big subterfuge call for the ball, gave it to Pearce, whose acceleration was enormous. Kenny taken in the tackle there, but got a pass around the body, back to Pearce, and watch Growth's involvement up the side. The strong big man went forward, over the top of one defender, and through the Kelly defence to score a try wide out. The Growthmobile strikes again. And there's a suggestion that there might be some knee trouble. Well, he's jogging back slowly. I would say, Barry, it's going to be a sad afternoon for English Rugby League.
Yes, and Mal Meninga, 19 points in that first test. He's already looking good. 6 points so far, and another possible 2 here.
This will require the greatest turnaround in English Rugby League history for them to get out of this one. Meninga, you can see the breath indicating that temperature's on the way down from the sideline. Well, he struck that badly, went away to the left, and the score remains 15 Australia, 2 Great Britain. Back to halfway for the start. They found Brendel not knocking on, of course. The referee saying it went backwards, which is quite right. Brings the play back to Kelly, now going to be penalised and going to be marched 10 yards further for disobeying the referee's instruction. Brendel comes, takes the quick tap. Australia on with the game. Out to Rogers, Rogers to Meninga, Meninga up the sideline.
Well, a suggestion in that penalty then by Max Krilic that Dalgreen, the hooker, had walked on Brendel.
Boyd. And a stiff swinging arm by number 10, Trevor Skerritt. Sterling. Craig Young, Sterling. Pearce loses the ball forward. Picked up there by number 9, Jal Green. Kenny being penalised, I think rightly. The referee having, in my view, a good game in both areas of penalising indiscretions and keeping a 5 yards. And the kick and goal for England. This is midway between the quarter and halfway midfield. Mumby's second attempt. Unusual for an England kicker these days, straight on attempt. It's pretty straight looking, and it's a good goal. So England make 4, Australia 15.
Number 1, Keith Mumby.
Very good crowd. As we see more Vapor trials go over the ground from probably a Harrier or one of the memorable British aircraft from the Falklands War. Drummond plays for the Lee Club. The other West Indian winger from the other wing is Henderson Gill. He plays for the Wigan Club. Inside the 5. Unofficial time, about 7 minutes to half-time. Waiting for that ball to come back down. Dal Green. Kelly, well handled. Gratian, little break. Attempted trip there by Price. Gratian, a wholehearted player, but not showing a whole lot in the ball skills department. Oh, bad pass out there from Holmes, went along the ground. That was a little bit of, how's your father in that one, watching the opposition come and just threw the ball. Eccles. I would have thought England might have used some kicking tactics to try to turn the Australian defence around. They've not used the kick. There's Dal Green running from dummy half, and that's falling into the Australian trap with a vengeance. Just tackling out each 5 tackle sequence, waiting for a kick. Eccles, last tackle. Kelly, no pace.
Oh, he's 30 years of age, and as you said, Rex, there's no variety in this attack. Just like the first test, they've got very, very speedy wingers, but they're not using those kicks.
Well, I can't imagine that they conceive they're going to get through this Australian defence, which has only conceded, 6 tries on the tour?
6 tries in the 12 matches, yes.
Sterling feeds it, went right through. And the speed of Sterling right around there to get the ball on the other side, just in case the referee allowed it, while Kelly stood there. Penalty England. Incorrect feed. It's a differential penalty, of course. And Australian fans at home watching shouldn't be concerned about Sterling being penalised so much for this incorrect feed. He is doing it, believe me. But then so are the English halfbacks. Dal Green bumps off a defender and loses 3 yards. Penalty. Oh. Hello, Boyd might go for that. If I was the referee, Boyd would be off. I've got to say that.
He sent him off.
Boyd has snapped and kicked. I don't know what led up to it. We'll see a replay, but Boyd is gone for kicking, and that might put a whole different complexion on the game. There's a suggestion that there was a kick at him from the ground by the player, Dal Green, I think it was, but there was absolutely no necessity for lashing out with a boot like that. And he's put his team in a test match in an invidious position. Has not won any fans by waving to them as he goes off in a gesticulating fashion. Penalty to England. And suddenly that 15-4 lead doesn't look so much. Yes, well, you people at home in Australia will be given the benefit of seeing a replay of that. We weren't able to get one here. And this is his 3rd attempted goal, Mumby. Struck that well. And it's going to be 15-6 likely at half-time with a couple of minutes to go.
The score for Great Britain, number 1, Keith Mumby.
Well, this has put now a tremendous amount of pressure on the Australian forwards. They've got to do the tackling of 6. And Mumby, 3 from 3. Right, a whole different ball game now. So wake up your husband if he's gone to sleep, because he may be going to see a sensational second half here. Henderson Gill.
That's the second time on tour that Les Boyd's been sent off too. I think it was Hull Kingston Rovers. The second game of the tour he was off with Rod Reddy.
not for kicking.
No, not for kicking. Back chatting, I believe. The first offence was he was sent off for.
Now England, Gratian. Now Gratian will see the size of the man in terms of captaincy. If he can organise his side, they've got to get the ball alive and run Australia around. That's a miserable kick. It went to Holmes. He wasn't expecting it. And as a result, the kick went nowhere.
Yes, Holmes had a bit to say to the teammate that threw him the ball, but at this class of football, you should always be ready for the ball.
Yes, exactly. Well, perhaps he's 30 years of age might account for his bit of tiredness at that stage. Seem to only have a couple of balls on the field here at the moment. There's an interminable wait every time the ball gets kicked away. That's England scrum win. Kelly. Plenty of overlap here, but the ball goes to ground as Stevenson gets it. Props goes back inside, finally tackled by Price around the boots. Holmes, Dahlgren. Good tackle there on Burton. Meninga the man. Picked up well there by Trevor Skerritt. Dahlgren, Gratian, Kelly. Fine tackle there on Eccles. Kelly makes an inroad up the middle. Good tackle there by Ray Price, who's getting through a mountain of work. Mumby, Holmes, ball gone to ground, picked up by Sterling. Australia in possession, they need that at this stage too. An offside against England in the 5. I think Krilic wisely has said to Meninga, you'll take a kick for goal. Now wait a minute, there's Brentnell as I thought overruled Krilic on that occasion.
Yes, although Max is up there now, it looked like he'd called Meninga first.
He called Meninga to take the kick, there's no question about that, and Brentnell, in my view, took the kick for touch without asking. Now Krilic, very important this minute or so now. There's no time clock. Kenny, dummy, one very close to being through. Lovely body skills there. Price trying to do it again from dummy half. Tops a punch. And the referee saw it.
This was the hooker, Dahlgren.
Dahlgren has gone for a little right hand. Krilic directing traffic out there, and what are we going to see now? Is it a retention of the ball or a kick for goal? Meninga being called. Here's the punch. If it goes slightly sliced, there's a possibility of a try on. Meninga hooks it slightly. And it'll be a restart from the quarter. There's the hooter for half-time. So at the half-time break, we've got a scoreline that reads Australia 15, England 6. The try scorers for Australia have been Eric Groth, Peter Sterling and Ray Price. The goal kicker, Mal Meninga, he's kicked 3 from 5. That's a penalty and 2 goals for the England side. Mumby has kicked 3 penalty goals. That's 3 from 3. We're going to take a break now. Take you to Alan Clarkson and Jeff Gerard after that. And then we'll be back to Central Park for a continuation of what promises to be a most dramatic second half. Meninga. No?
Graves over that leg injury.
So Wally Lewis is in the Australian team, and he'll be playing in number 14. Brentnell has it from the kickoff. 15-6 the score, and a lot of work for this Australian side to do to consolidate this win. Pearce taken high, but not illegally. There wasn't a head tackle. The tackler was Skerritt, and he's got them for inside the 5. And Pearce, I'm sorry, it's Krilic having quite a bit to say to Reddy there, saying, now you come on, I want you on the burst when I want you. And 2 of the senior members of the team having a little bit of an altercation there.
Just with the Australian team, Rex, I think Meninga's moved on to the left wing and Lewis in the centres with Rogers. Or maybe Kenny in the centres and Lewis at 5'8".
Yes, I think Lewis, you'll find, will be at 5'8". That's where he's positioned at the moment. Beside Sterling, Krilic, Sterling, Lewis. There's Pearce. And that is what you call good defence. Sterling, Craig Young, ready. Beautiful pass out there to Brendel. Then on the outside to Meninga. Meninga's almost into the clear. Just tripped at the last minute, 10 yards from the England quarter. Sterling, Craig Young, straight and hard, ploughing forward. A good run. Sucks the English defenders to him. Krilic now. Sterling, Lewis, the dummy, back on the inside and goes right through the middle. Gets a pass away to Pearce. Pearce accelerates nicely to Kenny. Kenny the dummy. Australia putting on the pressure. Stanton's probably told he wants another try in the opening 4 or 5 minutes. Ready, well taken. Beautiful pass back on the inside to Brendel. Still gets a pass to Meninga. Magic hands to Sterling. Sterling away to Pearce. Pearce held up in the tackle about 15 yards out. Gets a workout from the head, and a punch from Kelly is penalised. A valuable 2 points likely to Australia. And Kelly might well look daggers at the referee, but the referee has seen it. And it's the second occasion the little English halfback has been penalised for that sort of transgression. 6th attempt. Here's the replay of that. There's Pearce. And watch the right arm. It was only a little flailing one, and the stupidity of it. I was taught many years ago, Barry Ross, that if you ever intended to throw a punch, make it a very good one.
It's got to be a good one. And as Meninga lines his kick up, Rex, and there's Krilic again, this time with Ray Price. He's certainly done a good job talking to the team, calming them down a while ago, even before the Boyd incident. He's been talking a lot to the boys.
Now, Price will go up fast after this, waiting for a rebound. Here he goes. Meninga strikes it hard. Not quite so straight, but it makes it 17 points Australia, and they'll breathe a little easier. 6 to the England side. Or to be very precise, Great Britain. I would imagine at half-time Stanton would have already had a fair bit to say to Les Boyd, I would have thought. And he would then have addressed himself to his other 12 players and said, now, it's important we score early. So a 6 points lead is not good enough. A 9-point lead was not good enough. We want more.
And this English side back breathing fire as they began the game, but their conditions soon told in that first half.
Krilic. Sterling. The dummy. And good defence there, midfield. That's Trevor Skerritt. He's got through a lot of very good defence. Krilic. The little dummy in the sprint. And a good one, and a lovely pass away to Pearce. Comes back on the inside, unloads it to Ray Price. Price can't get away, gets it to Lewis. It's out then to Meninga up the sideline. They don't like the size of Meninga, but they put him to ground there. He's tackled about 10 yards out, and Australia on the rampage. Lewis, a long floating pass out to Rogers, out to Reddy. Reddy can't get it away, shows it. Dummy, nice one. Another dummy. He's throwing dummies as if he owns a dummy store. Meninga. He's tackled about 15 yards out. Get off him, says referee Rascagne. Krilic, the dummy, onto Pearce, straight ahead. Will pass on the ground, and England in possession through Mike Smith, who's not been sighted off nobbies in this match, really, as Henderson Gill. He makes about 4 yards. Lewis, the tackler. Gratian. No forward work there. England coming one out. Relying on their centres there, Mike Smith, to get them out of trouble. None of the England forwards seem very ready to get on with it. Knock on. Quite right. Mike Smith dropped it. This English pack is done to a frazzle at the moment, Barry.
Yes, that's right. It's been the whole difference of the series, this condition between the two sides. Australia much more fit.
Very important scrum whenever he gets away with it, Sterling. He's gone in after it like Brer Rabbit. He didn't get away with it. It was handled in the scrummage, and that's quite right too, Mr. Rascagne. You can't have them burrowing in there like rabbits. He's had a very good series, this referee.
That's what we were just talking about that at the break, Rex, about how well he has handled this game. Certainly different for this referee than what the Australians are encountering in the club matches.
Gratian. Just nothing there. There's no gaps. Skerritt couldn't find his way through. Got to use a little bit of imagination. They've got to keep the ball alive.
I don't know why they haven't used that kick, either the grubber kick or the little kick over the top to turn this Australian defence behind.
Popped the pass well. Might have been fractionally forward. The referee not impressed. Allows it to go on. Kelly, long floating pass. That's a little bit different anyway. But they're just dying. There's no pace in the English backs. In the centres, pedestrian. Look at that. Sterling underneath, Pearce in the rib cage, nowhere to go. Oh dear. Henderson Gill had to pull that one out of the sky. He goes well, makes a good break, and look who's around his legs. The clockwork toy, Ray Price. England crowd still hopeful that they can get this team of theirs into a sequence of scoring, but they're trailing 17-6. Scrum win to England. Holmes, nice pass to Mumby. Kenny's the tackler. And now Lewis on the halfway line. It's got to be kept alive. And Heron goes to ground with it. Ready with a hip throw type of a tackle. Kelly. Holmes loses the ball. No, the referee says it wasn't lost forward. Play on. Kelly, look at that tackle from Lewis. And last tackle coming up there as Mike Smith fell on it. That's a great kick. That's a gain of about 23 yards, easy.
There's Gratian in the picture now urging his team on.
Yes, he'd have to almost have reviving powers on some of these forwards. They're gone. That's a penalty against Sterling, I think, for an incorrect feed, but no, he's gone for... It's a penalty to Australia for loose arm against Dal Green. And Krilic gets up breathing fire. Repeating then, Boyd sent off 10 minutes in from half-time. At the half-time break, a change in the Australian team with Growth going from the field, Lewis coming on, Meninga going out to the wing, Lewis variously changing between centre and 5'8". 10 yards into England's half. Krilic runs from dummy half, was tripped deliberately. That's no doubt about that. It was, he hasn't missed a trick, this referee.
No, he's done very well, and he's been more than fair to both sides.
Bob Eccles was the very innocent-looking number 11 there for England, who got up and was looking one way when his foot went the other way and made contact with the Australian player.
Just a point on the penalties, Rex. At the moment, it's Australia in front 14-12, and overall the tour, it's 207 against Australia and only 107 for. So that's about 3-1 we've been caned in the club matches.
There was the trip. The referee, as I say, hasn't missed a trick. Now, Australia in a good attacking position from the restart. Krilic gives it away to Price. Still about 5 yards out. Krilic, good pass to Pearce. Pearce looking for somebody on the outside. Get back, says the referee. Get back. Krilic. Sterling, little grubber kick through. Rogers, try. Now it's offside. And it's a good decision. It's a good decision. I wouldn't argue with that one at all. I reckon Rogers might have been a yard in front. I just pegged him out of the corner of the eye. We probably won't get a replay on that. An interesting one, but I reckon the referee was right. But what a beautifully judged kick from Sterling. Here, see it again. Watch for Rogers. There he was well in front of Kenny. I think he was offside.
He picked the ball up well just the same, didn't he?
Oh, yes. Oh, he's one of the best footballers in the world. Now, that one might be argued about, but I'm not about to criticise this referee. Kelly. Gratian. And they're playing it as they did in the first test. One out and dying with the ball. It just dies where they're tackled, and that's playing into Australia's hands. That's the biggest dummy in the world. But still it goes. That's the last 4 tackles have ended with the tackler going to ground. Holmes. Nicely. Out there to Smith. Smith gets it inside to the winger Gill, who's finally tackled by Price. England now have got a back line deep. Can they use it? Holmes, no, they drop it. Australia come up with it, lose it, play on. No, the referee says knock on. He's quite right. The English crowds are used to a double knock-on rule over here, and they've seen that in their local club football where you can knock on. The opposition might knock on from the same situation, and you get the ball back. They play on in English football. But in international football, that can't be on. Brentnell. And Smith trying his best to tear his head from his shoulders. Bowstead evades 1-2. England trying to be very physical in the tackle at the moment, but that's much too late. Krilic got a pass away. It's on the 10-yard line. The crowd roar. Ready. Sterling. Kenny. Kenny's through. It'll be a try, I think. Oh, lovely tackle from Mumby. What a good defender. 2 top tackles he's pulled off today that have saved certain tries. Sterling, Craig Young. Craig Young, 10 yards out. There's an overlap on the left if they can get it out there quickly. Out it goes to Lewis. Lewis goes for the long floater. Oh, Meninga's in. It's a magnificent pass from Lewis. It's travelled the length of a cricket pitch. It's a 22-yard pass. And Meninga had no one in front. Oh, easy. A Wally Lewis special. 20 points to 6. See it again. What's the length of this pass? Barry, tell me what you estimate. You're a skilled teacher. Now watch it. Is that longer than 22 yards?
Yes, around 20 yards, I would think. A great pass. And Lewis was quick to size up that situation.
Unbelievable.
He's done that a lot of times in the State of Origin games in the last year, Rex. Those long, accurate passes.
Yes, so 7. Just off a small run. Oh, yes, from the sideline. Australia 22, England 6. Their midfield, defying them to put him down. Krilic, Price, nice sidestep.
Interesting point about Meninga, Rex. He now has 98 points, which is on this tour so far, with 2 matches to play after this, and that's the same number of points Mick Cronin scored in England from 11 matches in 1978.
Oh, beautiful football from Australia. They're just throwing the ball around magnificently, and the crowd are applauding them, I believe, as well as what was on that occasion good England defence. Sterling, Craig Young, the dummy, still unloads to Kenny. It's a magical progression on occasions when Australia get into the razzle-dazzle of their football. Oh, that's a rarity. Wally Lewis dropping the ball. And Krilic says, calm it, calm it. Scrum 10 yards into England's half. Looks like we might be getting a replacement on the England side.
Yes, that's John Wood, the reserve back, doing warm-ups on the sideline for England.
Penalty against Kelly. who's been a bit of a disaster for this England side, the number of times he's been penalised. Conceded 2 penalties that led to points for punching. And I think he's been penalised on another 4 occasions for an incorrect feed. At 30 years of age, you'd have thought that was the last thing he needed to do.
Yes, he would have had the experience to do otherwise.
Krilic showing them that Australian 30-year-olds, when they're playing with a lot of young men, can still do it from time to time. Look at this Pearce run on the burst. Put him in a Christmas hole there for a minute. Meninga, Lewis, hit hard. He'll do well if he held on to that. He did. He's a tough boy, this Wally Lewis. Ready, Sterling. Craig Young, beautiful switch of play there. Quick one, Sterling hands, great. Krilic, Craig Young. Ploughs his way to within 2 yards of the line. Watch for a move. Sterling. Lovely pass there out to Kenny. To Brentnell rather. Back on the inside to Reddy. Reddy bumps it to Sterling. Sterling is tackled and double movement. And who's going to argue with Mr. Rascagne? I think he was held about a yard short, trying to reach out. And nobody's arguing.
It's a good ruling again. A bit, well, I thought Rod Reddy might have got there himself. Looks like that English substitution coming any moment now. John Woods stripped underneath us and ready on the sideline with the touch stats to go on.
He'll be playing a number 14 when he goes on. We'll look for a replacement. 20 points to 22 points to 6. And no time clock here at Central Park. 10 yards out from the England quarter as Barry estimates how long we've got to go.
About 21 minutes.
England. And still going to ground with it. Kelly. That's a little bit better, but why pop and come back on the inside and then die with it? They're just running around in circles. Lewis accepts that with alacrity. For Rogers, was it? Ready. Kenny. Pearce. 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 This boy's got acceleration that I don't think any other forward on this either side has got. Krilic. The little dummy underneath a head high from our friend from Hull KR, Chris Burton, the noted scalper. Rogers. Sterling. Oh, bad pass. And well taken there by Boasted. Had to dive full length for it. Wally Lewis on the quarter. Referee calling out. The first time I've heard him call out. Kenny. Ready. Run around. Back on the inside. The crowd thought that was forward. I think I did too. But it's the 6. And we've got a replacement on. And that is John Holmes. And he replaces the other 5'8" that we came into the side. That is John Woods replacing John Holmes. Well, whose is it? Well, Sterling says Kelly had it, and I'll tackle him. Kelly gets up to see there was a dummy half. I'm amazed at this England side. They have got no method to their play at all.
Just when you think back in years gone by to the great variety English sides had, nothing here. And Holmes on, Woods on, he did nothing but step back inside in the first test. Let's hope he changes that today.
Well, he's going to stand out like a sore thumb, whatever he does. He's the only one with a clean jersey. Here's Kelly, who's ended up on the ground all day long. Has the ball stolen from him by Reddy. Reddy gets it away to Ray Price. Price goes halfway through a tackle, gets to the quarter line. A ton of Australians on the left. Rogers there waiting behind the ruck. And just a minute, we're waiting for this Australian side to develop something here on the left. They had an overlap, but it's gone. 10 yards out. Craig Young. Long pass. Kenny. Dummy. And I hear on BBC One, Ray French, the English commentator, saying that the Australians are teaching the Englishmen how to play rugby. And I couldn't agree more. This is a 12-man Australian side that are still putting the cleaners through an England side. Sterling. Ready. The dummy. And the still dummy. Still going. Gave a pass. It's been intercepted. Unfortunate for Reddy. Fortunate for England. Drummond. And away goes Burton up the blind side. It's got to be kept alive. I don't want to be repetitious, but it seems so obvious to me sitting here that this England side have got to be on the same mind. They've got to keep the ball alive. And they're just going one out and dying with it. It's senseless. Just outside their quarter. Would be a tour surprise to see the lights come on sometime in the next 7 or 8 minutes. Pretty dark here and pretty chilly. There's John Holmes, and that's the 6th. John Woods, rather, replaced John Holmes. He's playing in number 14, the lad in the Persil white uniform.
With a small change with the Australian side. Brett Kenny out here on the right wing. Maybe he's slightly hurt Boasted in the centres.
Another scrum went to England. And kicked through. That'll be 6 to go. Taken by Woods. Ready, the tackler. A bit of a high knee action there. And no ball movement. Just facing the sideline as he played it. Eccles has been one of the least effective forwards on the field, in my view.
He was brought into the side too because of his try-scoring potential. 14 tries this season, 1 in each of the last 9 matches.
Wouldn't get a run in first grade in Sydney.
Very few of these players would, Rex, at the moment. Wouldn't get a run
in the first grade side in Sydney. I doubt if he'd get in the Parramatta third grade. Well, it's easy to criticise, I suppose. This Kangaroo team have to be arguably the best Kangaroo side ever to go away. Their performance is superb. Drummond is offside, of course. Now, he's not now because Brentnell ran the required distance to put him onside. But he was yards offside to start. Price.
Going back to that Kangaroo side, Rex, what the interest they've created in England, and the English Rugby Union captain is here today, Billy Beaumont.
Craig Young powering his way. Pearce takes a hard tackle high. He's taken a couple of round the head today. Stevenson. Ray Price creating havoc with his style of running. They've not got an answer for Price.
You can hear, we were talking about Ray French a moment ago, Rex. Alec Murphy, his co-commentator up there, is just as vitriolic. He's saying this, they've got to do something.
Kenny. The pass goes to Boasted, who picks up the dregs from a badly directed pass. Boasted being asked to get to his feet quickly. Brentnell's kick is charged down, but Henderson Gill has it in front of his home crowd at Wigan. Rogers the tackler. Trevor Skerritt, a goer, but not a ball user. Dal Green, Gratian, Heron. Look at that defence. Pearce after his second man of the match award. Kelly, Gratian, Kelly. Moved it out to Wood. Wood props and comes back inside. Oh, it seems to me I've heard that song before.
It's the first kick England have put in this match over the top.
Meninga evades 1, 2. It's about to Kenny. Oh, he's through another defender. That's a bit of paltry defence from England. Pillage at halfway. Wally Lewis, Sterling, Rogers, Reddy, beautiful, Reddy into the clear. Turns it to Bostad, to Sterling. Back to Reddy, the dummy, beautiful. Long floating pass back inside to Pearce. Look at the acceleration. Gets it away to Lewis. Lewis is on to Brendel. Brendel pumps a pass that's gone to Lewis. Lewis can't. Yes, he can. Back to Price. Price is fighting for ball. And the crowd applaud. They love it. Listen to them. Now Krilic. Krilic, the Australian skipper, goes for a sprint. Those little dummy passes he throws, getting the defenders to hold off him.
It's 3 times he's broken clear around the dummy half.
Rogers. Craig Young. Back to Rogers. Rogers evades one tackle, gets it to Sterling. Sterling out to Lewis. Lewis out to Brendel, and it's a bad pass for once. And over the sideline. They're human. They make mistakes. The crowd are in a buzz. I don't think they care a damn whether England go close now. They just want to see this football.
There's Rod Reddy off and Ray Brown on for Australia. Reddy has played some great football in this last month over here.
Indeed he has. And been a total surprise packet to many Australians who thought he wouldn't have been in the side. Ray Brown on. He's playing at number 15. There he is, missing his first tackle. He won't be happy about that. Now he comes back and helps Lewis. $22 points to 6, Australia lead, and we've got
maybe about 12 minutes to go.
Referee coming in and saying Brown get off. Dahlgren, Eccles, who I'd like to say has passed the ball this afternoon, but he's, to my recollection, hasn't.
Back with the English back row haven't been sighted, have they? The 2 second rowers in lock, and Heron, the lock today that came on in the first test as a substitute, did quite well in that game.
Kelly tackled out of it there by Kenny. Mumby. Pass away to Burton, who's decked on the 6th. Australia have the 2 substitutes on now. Kenny, who appears to have hurt his left shoulder, has moved out to the wing, and Meninga's come back inside to outside centre. Rogers inside, Lewis at 5'8", and Price is playing out of the scrum as a sort of a blindside 5'8". We'll see that scrum again, says Mr. Rascagne. 22 points to 6, Australia lead. Against Kelly. That's a differential taken quickly by Krilic. He's had a very good game today.
In all aspects, great. And England about to make their second substitute too. Their reserve forward Rathbone on the sideline with a touch judge.
Lewis through the dummy. And they all took it. What position will he come on, Barry?
Well, he played lock the other night for Bradford Northern, but
Pearce.
He couldn't go into the second row for one of those second rowers, Rex.
Why not? Brown. Rogers. Rogers. Rogers! Good. Oh, he very nearly went over the dead ball line. But it's a good try. Well laid on by Ray Brown, who showed his usual ball skills. And Rogers having a little bit to say to one of the defenders. And Brown gets a pat on the back there for a clever bit of skill. Here it is again. Here's Ray Brown, the replacement, running sideways. Dummies, dummies, dummies. And Rogers just straight through the defence there of Kelly, who really, to my mind, I'm amazed that he's the best halfback in England. I can't believe it.
Well, he's playing well below what Steve Nash did for England in the first test.
Yeah, he's been a very ordinary player. So that makes it now 25 points to 6. The crowd booing up that end. And that might be Burton, the replacement they're booing as he comes off. Is it Burton?
Just have a look through the glasses.
Meninga from just inside the quarter. Strikes that beautifully. It's another goal to Meninga.
Yes, and it was Burton, the player that's been replaced.
And that represents 100 points scored on this tour by Mal Meninga.
Yes, that's Meninga's 100 points for the tour.
And the crowd applaud him.
And it just makes me wonder, Rex, that bad pass from Brentnell a moment ago would have been a certain try for Brentnell. 18 points with the kick to come would have equalled possibly the record for English-Australia Test.
Well, he's still got a few minutes left. Bowstead in receipt of the ball from the kickoff. I think of the tragedy really for an English rugby league this match, because had England been able to put up a creditable performance and perhaps even won, that third test against Leeds would have been a bonanza for the English rugby league. As it was, as it is, they'll probably still get a good crowd. Craig Young, been steady as a rock all day. Very solid player. Krilich, Lewis, there's Brown. On the halfway line, gets up, plays it forward. Steals another 8 yards. Sterling, Pearce, nicely to Price, back to Kenny. Kenny with a handoff there, and Brentnell can't handle the ball, knocks it on. One of the rare occasions that an Australian's made an error today.
And the substitution for Great Britain at number 15, Alan Rathbone, for number 12, Chris Burton.
$27 points to 6. Scrum win to England. Mumby joins in, but Sterling picks him up in about 1.5 yards. Eccles pops a pass to Rathbone. He'll lose it behind him, but still England's ball as Wood falls on it. About halfway, getting very gloomy here at Central Park, Wigan. And very, very cold. Kelly.
Slow motion football, isn't it, when England have the ball?
I just can't rationalise the selection of a 30-year-old halfback to replace a 32-year-old halfback.
And putting him with a 30-year-old 5'8", too.
So, you know, maybe the England selectors need changing, not the players. Eccles, little kick over the top. It's a change. It's a change as good as a holiday, too. Price has it, although he's been hurt. Accidentally, I think. Eccles struck at the ball. Why not try the kick? That's Price in a bit of trouble there. It was, I don't believe, anyway, deliberate. As Alf Richards is on. And here's the little kick through there from Eccles. And it was more or less Price diving in front of Eccles and not the leg coming in contact with Price. It's he'll be okay, Ray Price. He's indestructible, one thinks. Brown, Pearce, a brilliant game.
Once again, both the English wingers have seen very, very little of the ball.
Krilich, Price, Lewis, Bowstead did well to hold that. Good pass, tackle there from Drummond. Bowstead says, holds his hands up and says, truce, truce. Why would he worry? He doesn't want to get involved in fissies. And a penalty against England, and the referee to be congratulated again, because he's still in the dying stage of this game, keeping them 10 yards apart.
It's the penalty count at the moment, 17-14 in favour of Australia, and the scrum 7-2 in favour of England.
Brentnell to kick for touch. And the time to go, Barry?
About 4 or 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes at the most.
I've got to wait for the ball. waiting for that ball to come down. What are we, shorter balls here at Central Park? Right. Krilic, Craig Young. Powers his way forward, sucks the defenders to him. Krilic, Pearce, oh, on the surge.
Look at the Australian backs, how deep they are.
Sterling. Lewis. The pass to Sterling astray. Craig Young has it, elects to go back, then gets it to Price. Good defence there from Skerritt. Sterling. Lewis. Rogers. Always looking, all of the Australians, to unload the ball. Ray Brown. Yeah, look at that. Playing basketball. Craig Young enjoying the dying stages. Krilic. Pass, 6 to go. Back to Craig Young. Ricocheted off an England arm. There's Ray Price. Price driving for that second try that he wants. 27 points to 6. A rather humiliating defeat for an England side playing with an extra man. Oh, and Brentnell comes chiming in off a Lewis pass. Overlap on the left if they move it quickly, but it's got to go quickly. Might have closed now. They go right. Brown back on the inside to Krilic. 5 yards out. One feels another try imminent. Craig Young. Rogers, there it is, probably. Price. And it was always going to be on. And he's held up, according to the referee. And, well, that's perhaps an interesting one, a discussion point. It will be a scrum. And Price disallowed a try. They said he was held up in goal. Watch it again. I must say, I'm not about to argue with the referee. At that point, it looks as though he got it down there, but without a head-on shot, it wouldn't be possible to say. Certainly he finished on his back. And England lose the scrum. Price, Lewis, Rogers, Lewis on the inside. A flick pass to Brentnell. Brentnell flicks it out to Meninga. Meninga, the dummy, back on the inside. No, looks for support, but Kenny can't get to him. 5 yards out. It's been an exhibition game, really, from Australia's point of view. Wally Lewis on the charge. Still manages to get a pass away. Meninga has it. Flows it up in the air. England intercept. And the referee sets off to get on the other side of the ruck.
Yes, the Australians are doing things that they normally wouldn't do in a tight match.
Well, tight now with 27 points to 6 with about a minute and a half to go. They're just after something a bit spectacular. They've taken on the best that England can do in 2 matches and whipped them. Not a person's left the ground by the look of it.
Yes, the huge crowd is still here. This interest this team's created is very much on the up and up in England.
And again, England. There's the hooter. And that's the Ashes retained by Australia. And almost as if the hooter was cock-a-doodle doing in favour of the Australian side. As they leave, we'll give you some statistics. The try scorers for the Australian side have been Eric Groth, Mal Meninga, Steve Rogers, Peter Sterling and Ray Price. Mal Meninga came up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goals.
From 8 attempts.
From 8 attempts. The rest of the statistics, Barry.
Well, mummy for England, 3 goals from 3 attempts. And by the way, that's Australia's 13th successive test win against all nations. Scrums today, 7-3 in favour of England. And the penalties, unusually over here for this tour, 17-14 in favour of Australia.
And a very good refereeing performance. Let us stipulate again from Mr. Rascagne, the Frenchman. And I believe he's from Pepillon. And, of course, the sensation of this match, 10 minutes before half-time, the sending off of Australian front row forward Les Boyd for lashing out and kicking. I believe he was provocated. There was provocation in that he was kicked by a player on the ground. I didn't see a replay of the incident, but we are told that from Australia. However, there is no excuse at all for Boyd to have kicked out as he did. He has put the side in a little bit of jeopardy because they're in an inexperienced situation. Morris has got some neck problem. McKinnon would be the only other front row forward who comes into calculations. And I think Boyd, having been sent off before, is likely to be suspended on this occasion. there's only one more match before the next test, which will be at Leeds next Sunday, and that is against Widnes next Wednesday. Tuesday, a match that we'll both be going to see.
Just before we go, Rex, about that Boyd sending off, I don't know if he'll face the judiciary over here before that test match, and that's how the system works in England.
I would believe he would, but nonetheless, that's for the future, and that's for the English Rugby League. In the meantime, a 27-6 victory to the Australian side in the second test, the retention of the Ashes, and a very fine performance all round by the Australian team. This has been Rex Mossop for Barry Ross at Central Park, Wigan. Hoping you've enjoyed the test. We'll take a commercial break, and we'll be back.
Matches, and how did you see it, Jeff?
Well, they went out in the second half to consolidate, kept throwing the ball around and went on with it and scored those couple of tries.
Yes, I thought it was a very, very convincing performance by an Australian team that did play with 12 men for most or all of the second half and all but 10 minutes of the first half. Helped
by some lacklustre English running and defence.
Yes, it's a very, very sad thing to see an English team like this. Now, we'll have a look at some of the highlights.